from standing at the side of the stage, I was just like, this feels like apart from being a bucket list ticker, it feels like something you'll never forget it. You know, like I can still, I have a complete visual of how it looked towards the end of your set and how it felt, the colour of the sky, you know, the size of the stage, the sound, how well you played, and you know. But then you hung out with Liam Gallagher after that. How was that? That must have been...
Well, that was the next day.
Oh, yeah, of course, because he scarpered because he needed an early night because he was playing the next night.
He didn't have an early night the second night.
No, he didn't.
No.
How did you end up meeting him? And, you know, I know Katie had something to do with that. It was the press for you both.
He just...
got dragged.
We got invited to go back on the Saturday because he wanted to meet us.
Yeah.
So we said no. No. So we were like, yeah, of course. So we went back on the Saturday for the gig, but by this point we'd not booked anywhere to stay because we didn't really know what we were doing. It was, you know, we got asked to go back last minute, so we were like, I'll sleep in a bush. You know what I mean? If I get to speak to Liam Gallagher for 2 minutes, I'll sleep in a bush. It's worth it. And so yeah, after the gig, we went back. Katie come and got us, took us back to the after party. And then, so there was an after party.
Katie Gwyther.
Katie Gwyther, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an after party, and then there was
party.
like a secret bit that you couldn't get in unless you were tucking.
Caravan static, is it what they call?
Yeah,
Static
it was Liam's backstage area,
Quirky
basically.
caravan things.
And so me and Jack were there, and she says, "Come with me. I've got someone that wants to speak to you." And I thought we'd been caught doing something or in trouble. So I was like, "Oh shit." And so we go back, and then Liam Gallagher's standing there in this mad camouflage, fleecy smock.
Mid-conversation.
Just cool as. And when we were walking back, one of the guys from the DMAs was with us. And we didn't even realise...
Was it the drummer?
No, the guitarist. I'm trying to think of his name.
Are you sure? This guy with like the big jaw.
Big jaw.
Big jaw.
Can't remember. I don't know
What
his
colour is
name.
his hair?
His,
like
his brother's
bleach
the one
blonde,
that's...
innit?
Isn't that the guy from Planet?
No, it's his brother.
Matty Tuck?
Could be, yeah.
The guy from Planet was there too.
Yeah. But he was like really nice, and we're talking to him, and then halfway through the conversation, I realised who it was. I was like, oh fucking hell. But anyway, so we're walking through, and then you see Liam Gallagher's just got this pure aura about him.
Yeah.
He's such a geezer. He's like vibrating, just standing there, and he's like mid conversation with someone, and then he sees me and Jack, and just goes, "Hang on."
That parts them.
Walks over to us. He's like, "You cheeky fucking cunts. Who are you calling a dirty blue on my stage?" I said, you cunt. And then he just straight away from that, he just loved it.
Because obviously,
loved him.
Yeah, on stage, you know, you were thanking Liam Gallagher. Do you want to give the backstory to that?
Obviously, we were very appreciative of the opportunity.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm a United fan first. So I just said, I want to thank Liam Gallagher for asking us to play and stuff.
Which got a cheer.
Yeah, and then I said, it's just a shame he's a dirty blue.
Which got a boo.
Massive boo. And I said, glory, glory, Man United, which got even more of a boo. But I remember as soon as I'd done it, Charlie Lightning, he was filming, he put the camera down and he was like, you're a cunt, you. And I was like, I know. He said, did you plan that? I said, no. Because if I'd have planned it, I'd have probably shit out. I didn't want, I was just being me.
Of course.
Trying to have banter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it basically.
So Liam backstage comes up to you, says you're a cheeky fucker. Didn't he say something about, who did he speak to about Deeper Than Holy? Like, didn't he say?
He was showed at that point.
You what?
Oh no, he said he was just talking about the band, how much he actually liked Deeper Than Holy and that sort of.
Yeah, he knew a lot about the band.
He watched like interviews and stuff.
It's shown that he wasn't just. He wasn't just bullshitting. He was very invested, and he knew things. Do you know what I mean? He'd don't expect some of the lyrics.
Need to do that, does he? Really?
No,
he couldn't give a fuck. He could just give us a gig and say, "I don't give a shit about you."
And I'd be happy with it. But the fact that he took his time and invested his time into listen to our stuff and pay attention.
Well, I think that is reflected in some of the other bookings on that event, like Amel and the Sniffers. I wouldn't necessarily think that they are an artist that Liam would listen to on a daily basis. That's not to say I don't think that they're great, but I'm not sure that he would be as forthcoming to say, or show us how to play one of your songs on guitar, or something like that, you know?
You were trying to teach him the guitar, weren't you, at that one point?
Yeah, he was asking me to play it, and he was
Deeper Than Holy.
Yeah, he was singing it for a bit, but everyone was just a bit
What's
west.
that fucking lyric? What's that lyric?
Yeah, what's that?
What's
God's
that
me
lyric?
what? God's me what? Right, and man,
That's
fucking genius, that man.
Shit,
It's fucking cool.
Cost me
as
right
fuck.
hand fucking man.
Brilliant.
The fact that he just knew how that was enough for me.
I was kipping out on his bed. I leaned up and I just seen Liam holding the guitar while James was changing chords. I just went back to bed. I was like,
What time of the night was this?
Morning,
about 9.
Really? I thought it was like middle of the night. Like, it was that early?
Well, no, probably 8 then.
It could have been later than that. I don't know. It was all just a bit of a blur.
Time went out the window.
My phone was dead. I weren't gonna check. You know.
There was no fucking judger.
Yeah.
There's been a murder.
You weren't allowed to check the time, if I remember, because it puts a bad. If you start looking at the time and you're like, oh god, it's.
Yeah, of course.
It starts putting a bad vibe on it.
What time did everyone start to chip off?
About 3 the next day.
I don't know. Probably.
Right. And you were right, so you were on site at Knebworth till 3 the next day?
Probably
Roughly,
not 3.
yeah.
It might have been early. I don't know.
was sometime
I woke
in the
up and they were
afternoon.
still drinking outside, put it that way.
Who left first, you or Liam?
Oh, Liam was there he was sat there huddling like 4 cans of Guinness, just in his fucking jacket zipped up,
Kind
snipping
of
them.
Guinness. No. No. I'm done.
That's hilarious.
What a die.